Alright, my good dudes, we're going to learn today how to convert fractions into decimals and decimals into fractions. What are the steps for turning a fraction into a decimal, you might ask? Well, step number 1, divide the top number by the bottom number. And that's it. That's the only step. No, really, it's the only step. Alright, let's try it. So we're going to set up our long division. Put the 1 in here, 5 over here. But since 1 is smaller than 5, what we're going to do is we're going to extend it using our decimal points. That's a decimal point. It doesn't look like one, but it is. So we'll put some zeros here. We'll probably just need 1 0. Okay. How many times does 5 go into 1? 0 times. How many times does 5 go into 10? Twice. Alright, so 2 times 5 is 10. Subtract it. We got a 0. So our long division is complete. The answer is 0.2. Let's try this one. Put the 4 on the outside of the long division, 3.0. Bring up our decimal point. How many times does 4 go into 30? 7 times. 4 times 7 is 28. There's a decimal point there and there. Can't really see it though. Is 2. Oh, make a new 0. Drop the new 0. How many times does 4 go into 20? 5 times. 5 times 4 is 20. And that's 0. And then that means there's no remainder, which means we are done. Our long division, and our answer is 0.75. 1.06. How many times does 6 go into 10? 1 time. Minus 6. And that's 4. Alright. Put that out farther. Oh, we forgot to put our decimal point out. That's really important. Make a new 0. We get 40. How many times does 6 go into 40? Well, the closest thing of 6 I can think of is 36, so that's 6 times. So we get minus 36. And then that's 4, so we'll make a new 0. How many times does 6 go into 40? 6 times. 36. 4. Wait a minute! We're just in the same predicament that we were in before. If I were to make another 0 and drop it down, I would get 40, and then I would get another 6, and then I would get 36, and then I'd get 4 again, which would be 40, and then I would just have 6's on forever. And guess what? That's our answer. 1.666666666. Because some fractions make, well, not 1.666, 0.16666. And some fractions make repeating decimals, and that's our answer. What? 8 divided by 55? Well, that would be a pain in the butt to do with long division. That would take forever. Who comes up with these examples? Oh, that's right, I do. Oh, whatever. Let's just check it on the calculator. Alrighty, so we got 8 divided by 55, and we get 0.1454545454545 repeated forever. And there is our answer. Let's check all of our answers on the calculator. Okay, 1 divided by 5 equals 0.2, which is what we got. So we got 3 divided by 4 0.75. 1 divided by 6 equals 0.166666, which is what we got. Okay, so how do we convert a decimal into a fraction? Step number 1. Write the decimal as a fraction over 1. So we're going to put the decimal part in the top, and we're going to put 1 on the bottom, or in the bottom. For the top and the bottom of the fraction that you made, we're going to move the decimal place over until the decimal becomes a whole number and the 1 at the bottom becomes a power of 10, such as 10 or 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 or a million or something. Next, we are going to simplify the new fraction. But you gotta be careful with this method because it does not work for all fractions. It only works for fractions. It only works for decimals that are not repeating. If you have a repeating decimal, you have to use a different method, one that uses algebra, and we'll talk about that later in the video. We have 0.15, so that will be the top, and then we'll have 1 at the bottom. Now let's move the decimal point. We're going to move it over twice. 1, 2. So this becomes 15. And let's see, how did we, so the decimal point was originally over here, so we'll move it over twice. So that becomes a 0, this becomes a 0, so we get 15 over 100. And then we will simplify this using the factor tree method like I showed you in the other videos. And I simplified the fraction. I got 3 over 20, so I'll move the simplification work to the center, and you can pause it and look at it if you want. Alright, pause. Okay, unpause. Now let's check it in the calculator. And I got 3 divided by 20 is 0.15, which is what we started with, so that's correct. So I got 0.5 over 1, move the decimal place over till we get a whole number, so I get 5. I only had to move it over 1 spot, so that just becomes 5 over 10. And that simplifies. Well, I know that 5 is half of 10, so I don't even need to do the factor tree method to know that that's 1/2. Now let's check it in the calculator. So if I have 1 divided by 2, I get 0.5, which is what we started with, and that's correct. 0.375 over 1. Move the decimal place over 3 times. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So I get 375 over top of 1,000. The simplification work is in the little box if you want to pause and look at it. The answer I got was 3/8. Let's check it on the calculator. 3 divided by 8 is 0.375. So how do we convert a repeating decimal into a fraction? Well, let's go over the steps. Step number 1, we take our repeating decimal and we set it equal to x and form an equation. Next, we multiply both sides of the equation by a power of 10. Well, what power of 10 do we use? Well, however many digits are repeating in your decimal, or however many digits it takes to get to 1 repeat of your decimal, that's how many zeros you want on your power of 10. Next, we're going to subtract the original equation from the multiplied equation. And then we're going to solve the resulting equation to get the answer. So let's see how this would look. So we're going to set this equal to x. X equals 0.3. You could write it like that with the dots, or you could write it like this with the line over top. Okay, how many digits are repeating? Well, it looks like we just have one repeating digit. We just have a 3. So we're going to multiply both sides by 10 because it's one repeating digit and one 0 on our power of 10. So this will become 3.3. Because remember, when we multiply by 10, we just move the decimal point. Over, and there's more 3's out there, so we get 3.333. Okay, so now we're gonna subtract the big equation, the little equation from the big equation. So x equals 0.3. And over here we're going to get 9x. And so, well, 3.3333 and 0.3333, well, these decimal sections are the same, so they're going to cancel out when we subtract them, so we're just going to be left with 3. And now we got this new equation that we can solve. So we're going to divide both sides by 9. Over here, so 9x divided by 9, that's just x, of course. And then we get 3 over 9, and we can simplify this fraction, and we could do our factor trees if we wanted to, but I think we all know that it's probably just going to be 1/3. So there's our answer. So I'm going to get x equals 0.24 repeating. How many decimals are repeating? Two digits are repeating. I keep getting those words confused. So, what power of 10 are we going to multiply by? Well, we're going to multiply one that has 2 zeros, so we're going to multiply both sides by 100. So we'll get 100 x is equal to, so we'll move the decimal point over 2 places, 24.24 repeating. Because remember, there's more 2 4's over there, so we can have as many as we want. And now we're going to subtract the little equation from the big one. 0.24 repeating. The decimal parts are going to cancel, and then we're going to get 99x is equal to just 24. And then we can divide both sides by 99 in order to simplify. So we get x is equal to 24 over 99. And then we gotta simplify this fraction. So I'm gonna go do a factor tree real quick. Alright, here's my factor tree work up in the corner if you want to pause and check it. But I'm just gonna check on the calculator. And let's see. If I take 8 and divide it by 33, I get 0.242424242424, which is what I got, which is what I started with. So I got it right. Alright, kiddos, one more for the road. This one's going to be a little bit more complicated, but I promise our little trick is going to work. So we got x equals 0.15 repeating. And how many decimals are repeating, or how many digits I should say are repeated? Well, technically there's just one that repeats. But in order to get to one full round of repetition, we would have to count 2 decimal places over. Therefore, we need to multiply this by a power of 10 that has 2 zeros. So 100x is equal to 15, remove the decimal point over 2 places, 0.555, on and on and on and on. So we'll subtract our original from this, x equals 0.155, on and on and on and on and on. Okay. Over here we'll get 99x. And then, well, 5 minus 5, well, that's 0. 5 minus 1, that's 4. That's an ugly 4, sorry about that. And that's 15. So then we're going to get, so if we divide both sides by 99, we're going to get x is equal to 15.4 over 99. Well, that's not a very nice fraction. You can't have a fraction and a decimal mixed. But that's easy to fix. We'll just multiply at the top and the bottom by 10. And you have to multiply the top and the bottom by the same thing. Because this is technically multiplying it by 1. Because they're the same on the top and the bottom. You can't multiply like the top by 100 and the bottom by 10. So we'll get 154 over 990. And I'll go do my factor tree. Poof, I made them all tiny. And also here's my factor tree work in the box if you want to check me and pause it. So what do I get? I get, oops, wrong tool. Dope. 7 over 3 times 3 times 5. That's 9 times 5, which is 45. And 7 over 45 is my answer. But let's check it on our handy dandy calculator. So I get 7 divided by 45, and I get 1.55555, which is what I started with, so I'm right. But if you don't want to do all that, you can memorize some of them. Go ahead and pause this and write these down in your notebook. And there you go. You have learned everything there is to know about converting fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. You did it! Yay! Thanks for watching!